think about. You don't have to.
Dude, who?
But
It's a sister, right?
huh?
It's a sister you talking to, right?
Uh-uh. Oh man, that's hilarious. I'll show you a picture. That's funny. That's funny. So I was talking. I was like, so like, what amount of money is it gonna take for you to seriously think about doing something like that? Like, what do you think we can really survive on? Like, because obviously, like I said, she's the breadwinner right now. We both still produce income, but we do the bills together, and stuff like that, But whenever I get to the point of actually taking it over, what do you think your tasks are? What do you think my expectations are? What they actually are? And what are your expectations for me?
See, that whole provider thing been coming out here pretty fluent here recently. And I don't necessarily agree with how it's been coming out because first point is it takes more than one income to survive in today's times anyway. I make over $80,000 a year working in IT, and that shit barely
cuts it.
It barely cuts it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's one thing, but then it's just okay. Let's say if I do want to say, all right, babe, I'll pay every fucking thing. I got you. You ain't got to pay for shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. She ain't got to worry about anything, but 80 grand ain't gonna get you where you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna put your ass in the project somewhere. I mean, we can deck it out from Wayfair. You know what I'm saying? Give me a check or two. I'll make it look nice on the inside.
Yeah, from Temu, Shein. Hey, you talking about?
But we ain't gonna be where you want to be, and that's where a lot of men, especially that come to me for couple counseling, they start to fail because here I am being told by a woman, he's not a provider. He's not giving me what I need, want, desire, and it's like, let's break down what a provider is. A provider is I go to work,
and at the end of the day,
I bring home a check.
And at the end of the day, you're talking about being a provider. I mean, let's look at the economy. I mean, it's not great. See, that's the thing, and that's the thing that I love about my fiance now is that I know that let's say I do take it over, some odd reason I start making $150K a year, just some odd reason. God bless, whatever the word, right? $150K a year. If that number just starts to just kind of, I start to slip. Yeah. Starting to fall a little bit. Last month check,
but it's almost guaranteed.
Last month check almost, instead of $6K, it was $25. I know for a fact that my fiance will get up and she will work, and there will be no issues.
$150K is a little over $3,000 every 2 weeks. I've been there. I've seen it.
That's I'm not gonna name drop anything or put anybody on blast here, but my buddy of mine was making $2,400 every week, like doing road work. 19 years old, doing road work, making $2,400 a week. Damn.
You ain't lying.
His lady ruined it for him, drove him insane, like had him out there doing crazy things on the road, just acting out, lashing and stuff. She drove him nuts, ruined it for him, and he lost everything, lost his truck, his relationship with his mom, lost all of it. It took me, I had to step in and be like, yo, this ain't the one for you. Like, you gotta, this is where the friends, the loyalty and stuff comes into play. I was like, look, bro, you were making this much money and you just threw it all away for this one girl. She's not worth it, bro. She's not. And she's in high school. She's not worth it, bro. She's not. And sure enough, he cut her off. And I told him, I said, look, when I move back, if you were still messing with this woman, when I move back, I'm not going to speak to you no more because now you're setting yourself up for failure. I don't speak to him no more.
I don't know, but it's one of those, choosing to keep the cancer around. I got a family, I got an older family member who, they may or may not be a grandparent, maybe,
all right, we gotta liven this up a bit.
They
I'm Mr.Roll with me.
Yeah, yeah. I got a grandparent and they choose to be with someone who constantly cheats on them, constantly mentally abuses them. I don't think physically anymore anyway. But it's one of those, I'm not gonna be around it. Shit. And at the end of the day, you like it, I love it.
Right.
It's one of those. It's one of those. It's a free will thing. You gotta let them do them. You know, everybody not gonna take the advice. Matter of fact, how do you process that well when someone pays the money, schedules the appointment, sits down with Mr.Roll with me, you drop them all the sauce, tell them how to help themselves, and they go out and don't do it. You handle that well.
Yeah, because I used to be that.
Nah, I can't handle that well. I'm just like, that's a level of disrespect.
You
to
do
me.
gotta handle that because like he just said, you were once that. Usually,
I was.
Wait,
we can admit that. We can admit that I was.
Did you go back?
I was. Yes, you're right. I
you
did
now.
So the thing is
she got that dick in a chokehold, my boy. Fuck what you saying? It's over. So
he's not lying. That's the point. He's not lying.
Oh, man.
So the thing is, let's take this up a notch. Do you know about your fiance's whole phase? And do you want to know about it?
I want to say. Do I know about? Okay, so do I know about her whole phase?
And if you don't,
No.
do you want to know about it?
Well, yes, I know about it. Yes and no.
Okay.
We have been very open and honest about, like, I chose to be open and honest about my past and who I had dealings with so that she didn't have to hear a side story from someone else. At the end of the day, even if it was a mistake, I'm a grown-ass man. Hey, look, I did blank. I don't give a damn. I got to tell you that. I told her, I was like, yep, that girl over there, yep, tore her down. Didn't want to. That was a long time ago. I was 18, tore her down. Her over there, if we somewhere and someone talking, she's like, who is that? Yep, did it. Yep.
But if your past doesn't matter, why should it be brought up?
The only back to my only reasoning is so that she don't hear a sidebar conversation and take in the wrong type of information.
So, are you an ex-porn star?
No.
You got a sex tape out?
No.
So then, who should be telling her any fucking thing?
So that's.
I see what you mean. But that's the only reason I shared it is because, like, so she wouldn't hear nothing. So she wouldn't hear nothing crazy from someone else. But that was also
You did the cheerleader squad.
That's
the only thing I can see. You did the cheerleader squad.
But that was also then though. Like,
don't run past that shit.
Yeah, face it like a man. Face it like a man.
Don't you run past that shit. You did the cheerleader. There's a reason why you don't want her to hear some shit. Damn.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. No, but no. It's just. It's just
fucked you up.
I just don't want her to hear like some.
You was in a schoolhouse orgy.
Yeah, some out of pocket ass shit, man. But like, there was even this girl who used to fool with my friend. Like, now, granted, I am blessed because, like you said, it shouldn't really matter. So she don't really care. I'm talking about even if I had to actually work with somebody that I did to do with before.
Okay.
And surprisingly, as much as I needed to stand this close to this person and say like, hey, look, yeah, bro, so if you're going to do this on this worksheet, you got to fill out the temperature for the chili, the hot hamburgers, and then like, bro, do the hot dogs at like 3 instead of 2 o'clock. And we got to stand this close with this is the person that I done did to do with. Mm-hmm. She ain't got no problem with it. None whatsoever. I probably didn't have to say anything, but I chose to.
Now, would you have a problem if it was the other way around?
Once again, I want to say I'm better than that, but I don't know, bro. I don't. See,
I'm not. I don't give a fuck. It's something about another motherfucker around my girl that's seen her butt ass naked before. I can't do it.
See, and that's something, I'm glad you brought that up, because this is something we've been dealing with. Sorry, babe.
Bro, I ain't seen no girl butt ass naked.
But this is not you. So, we we went through our thing. Like I told you, she was dealing with another man
Mm-hmm.
when she moved back down, right?
Fact.
I had called her, and
Mm-hmm.
she was at his house. Answered the phone on FaceTime in his bedroom. They were fully clothed. She had just got there, answered the phone. I looked at the dude, and I was like, damn, bro, I'm sorry, but we got unsolved business, and you just caught up in the midst of it.
Yeah.
And he was like, you being really disrespectful. I was like, no, this is my woman, right? Claiming her after I had done pushed her, back 1,000 miles away from me.
Yeah.
Right? And sure enough, we was on the phone for like 15, 30 minutes while she's, at this dude's house. He's like, hang up the phone, this, that, and the third. I'm like, don't be a bitch, bro. Hang up the phone your damn self, right? And sure enough, she ended up hanging up the phone. The conversation ended. I knew what was happening. I knew what was going on. I had to accept that. I put her in that position. I accepted what was going to happen. Now, every so often, I'll have a thought. I'll be like, damn, she did something with another man. And I know about it. That shit hurts a little bit. Shit, it strikes the heart, bro. It's like I see him in public, I'm gonna hit him in his kneecaps, So it strikes the heart a little bit. I gotta move past it.
I'm sorry, y'all. There's just something going on outside. You see that? You see that? You see something going on? You see that?
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't look. We don't need him in trouble.
Framework.
I see a Jeep out there. Big Jeep fanatic. So
that's a nice. I just love cars.
I work at Toyota, by the way.
But man, Mr.Roll, man. So 339K. But let's go back to the beginning. Where'd you grow up? And do you mind sharing, I guess, your first name? I don't know if you want to go. That's fine.
I got an old backwood name. My name is Stanley Peavy. And I grew up I was born in Anniston, Alabama. Brief history. My grandma got married, moved to Cincinnati, Ohio. My dad was knocking my mama over the washer and dryer and shit. So when I was 4, she picked me up, took me to Cincinnati, Ohio. We fell out. I moved back with my daddy, ate my Wheaties, stopped being bullied, got mean. Then I moved back to Ohio because my mom needed my help and whatnot. And my dad was using me as a cash cow. You know what I mean? Like, I would work at Sonic, get the check. He would find a million ways to spend it. And then that's how I ended up in Cincinnati.
Wait a minute. You worked at Sonic?
Yeah.
Man, we all did. All 4 of us in this room.
What the hell? What are the odds? What Sonic did you work at?
It was a Sonic in Anniston, Alabama on 202.
Actually, that's where my fiance works still right now. She's actually the general manager of the Sonic in Thompson, Georgia, where I live.
Shout out Sonic in Thompson, Georgia.
And he done work there too. Hell, she done work there too. That shit crazy. We done all work there. I became a manager there and everything. I ended up moving stores, but that's crazy. That's crazy though. So growing up, you said so your mama was dealing with some physical abuse. Was that like super early on in your life?
Yeah, that was super early on. I only heard stories about it.
Oh man.
Yeah,
So
I can relate to that.
Yeah, I was about to say. So sorry to hear something like that. I can only imagine y'all's feelings and animosity towards different people about situations like that.
That relationship you have with your dad afterwards is just not the same.
So speaking of that, how is that relationship? That was your biological father, right? That was so how is that relationship now considering the events?
It's hollow. I mean, on the surface, we speak, we are cordial, we are whatever, because I'm 4 years old. I don't know nothing, you know what I mean? But him being gone most of my life, it was like I had to tell my mom, I don't know who he is. I want to go meet him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And of course, when you go see your dad, they spoil the shit out of you. You stay up all night, eat candy, you go play.
Ice cream.
You know what I mean?
I call that buying love. That's
you know what I mean?
Trying to make up for what's been happening.
At 12 years old, you thinking that's what love is. You know what I mean? You do what the fuck you want to do until you grow up, get a job, and you find out who this motherfucker really is.
Yeah.
So then it's like, So I love him, but I love him
over there.
Over there. You stay over there. I stay over here.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I like heavily relate to what you're saying because I don't speak to my dad. I ain't spoke to my dad since 2017, 2018.
You need to do it.
And I feel like that'll help me a lot with my relationship with my woman, because if I can forgive my dad for what he did to me and my mom, I can forgive my girlfriend for whatever she does, and whatever has happened, and I can be able
What you need to forgive her for?
Just the problems. Is that's my biggest problem is forgiveness, giving that forgiveness out. I don't know how to.
Yes, you do.
How? Like, what is the key?
She's here now.
Yeah.
You still fold her like a pretzel, don't you?
Occasionally.
Yeah.
Is she going anywhere?
Not that I know of. Maybe going anywhere?
You get to
Do
know
you
like
want her to go anywhere?
No, absolutely not.
So it isn't the fact that you haven't forgiven her. You just ain't let the thoughts go.
Yeah, and I don't think I don't think that's something that you completely have control of. I think it's something that comes, you deal with it while it's there, and then after it's done, continue to move forward. Because thoughts only last so long, depending on how long you want to linger on the thought.
So there's two different types of forgiveness. There's action, and then there's emotional. So through your actions, you've already forgiven her. She's not going nowhere. You'll kill for her. You'll do whatever the fuck you want to do to make sure she stays here.
Yeah.
But emotionally, you haven't let it all go yet. So you're
what's
50-50.
So how do I emotionally let go of it? Because I feel like that's where the battle with my dad is at. I haven't emotionally let go of what he's done. It's still my life. I've lived my life in my dad's shadow. I was constantly growing up. He can vouch for this. Everybody's like, Clay, you're George. Mm-hmm. You're George. Mm-hmm. And that's my dad. And it's got to the point where anything I do is, Clay, you're acting like George.
So my thing is, do you think more rationally or more emotionally?
I could say emotionally. I'm an emotional thinker.
Ooh. All right. That's a little different. It would have been easier if it would have been rational, but because you're emotional, you're going to have to come out of that. And the reason why is because, think of it like this. She left and did her thing, right?
Yeah.
Did you do yours?
Yeah.
So what makes yours different from hers?
And that's what I compare myself to. Anytime I get a thought of like what she's done with somebody else, I remind myself, why are you upset about this? You did the same shit. You have no right to be mad at her for it. And that's what really helped me get through that is like, bro, you're hypocritical as fuck right now. Like, why are you upset about something she did?
Well, I think
you did the same thing and you started it.
Yeah, it's not necessarily, what I'm saying, I don't want you to think you a hypocrite of it. I mean, it's still your feelings, what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, you don't enjoy. It's not like, oh, that happened. Yay. You know what I'm saying? But you can, like he's saying, step to the car for a second, go to the bathroom real quick and just be like, you know what? I did that shit too.
Yeah.
But it's like your prized possession. So I get what you're saying, because at the end of the day, you don't want nobody to fuck with
that's
your
like
prized possession.
playing in a football game, winning the MVP trophy, right? And that's yours. And then your brother go put it on his shelf.
Exactly. So that's what's bothering you.
Yeah.
But at some point, you got to suppress that, because you're never going to forget.
Yeah.
And so don't think you having those thoughts is, oh, I haven't forgiven it. You're never going to forget. But
you don't letting it affect me.
Right. So you don't want to keep.
Yeah. What do
you don't want her to know that is still on your brain for the long run.
Yeah.
Because then that'll start to weigh your relationship down.
Yeah.
Because women see it as, if you're still thinking about it, you're still talking about it and all of that shit, obviously you haven't forgiven me. And it's like, well, baby, it ain't that I don't forgive you. I'm still processing it.
Yeah.
Well, then shit, how long you gonna process it? That shit was way back in the...
Yeah, I was about to say, now you're dealing with the, you talking about you processing it. It's been a year and a half already. And it's just like, now there's a time limit on the processing.
Yeah.
You know, so, yeah. You got,
So switching back over to like my dad and stuff like that, how do I go into a conversation like that? Because the last thing I spoke to my dad is my dad told me, I haven't attacked your mother yet, that's a bold-faced lie. I watched it happen, right? And I was like 8 years old, dude. Seeing my dad with his hands around my mom was that's a sight that I will never forget, ever. And my dad, to this day, will deny that. Will deny it And that's the last conversation we had. He was denying it. And he said, son, I ain't attacked your mother yet. I threatened him, you know, not going to say the words I said because it was very aggressive.
Yeah,
You good.
Told him, I was like, just, that's not going to happen, basically. Like, I won't let that happen. And then hung up in his face. Threatened to beat him up, threatened to kill him. It went too far. I took it too far. But that's how I protect my mom, you know?
Yep.
And that's the last time I spoke to my dad. I ain't spoke to my dad since, and that was 2017.
Yeah, I took a break.
I was 17 years old. I'm 21 now. You know, that was 4 years ago.
I took a break, so I get it. But for me, I had to leave, and there were some things I had to split what I could take and what I couldn't.
Yeah.
And the stuff that I just couldn't take, I was like, I got to tell you this.
Yeah.
So when you told me, I'm free to say what I want, right?
What's YouTube's guidelines? I guess. What is it? I know we can cuss.
As long as you can cuss and say whatever you want, but I don't.
I'm pretty sure you can't say like
anything graphic. You know, like
I guess maybe.
We'll cut. If it's bad, we'll cut it out. If it's bad, we'll trim it.
So what ended up happening was my dad looked at me, and he made my brother stand in front of me, and he told my brother, "Don't grow up to be like that sorry ass nigga right there."
Oh yeah, that's
fine.
And the next thing you know, that hit me because not only did you tell me I would never be shit, you told my younger brother who looks up to me that I'll never be shit. And that was the day I left Alabama. So besides helping my mother, my dad pushed me out. So getting back to your statement, how did you get through it? I took a break for years. I ain't talked to him for like 7 years. And I talked to my aunt, and my aunt was like, you need to talk to this man. I'm like, all right. So
that's what my uncle is.
I just leaped. I leaped, but I let him know. Of course, he said, I don't remember that shit. Like, okay, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
But at least I got it out. Even though I didn't get the closure I wanted from it. You motherfucker, you heard me.
Yeah.
And that's where I left it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that'll definitely help me because when I was up in Iowa, I was packing the car up I wasn't packing, I was cleaning it, getting ready to, pack it and move it and stuff like that. Just a thought struck over me. I still got my dad's number in my phone. I got a new number though, so he don't know what my number is.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'm gonna call him. I'm just gonna take that, and call him, let him know like, hey, what happened, it's over with. And it just went straight to voicemail. So I just was like, that's it. I tried one time and let it go. I was just, maybe this isn't the time to call him. But like he was saying, he's big and religious. I am too. And he actually helped me get there. One of the Bible verses that helped me get through what we went through was to be forgiven, you must learn to forgive. And I want to forgive my dad for what he did because I feel like it'll help bring peace into my life. It'll help me get away from that emotional.
You could do what I was telling you about in the car. It's the same thing he just said a minute ago. Get back to the point where you love them, but they can stay over there though.
Now I'm a PK as well. It's funny that's the same dude that's a preacher, right?
Yeah.
So mine is stand still and let the Lord fight your battles. Mm-hmm. And it's a whole lot deeper than that. So even in the midst of whatever you're going through, don't go up, don't go down. Stay you. Stay the person that you are. And just stand still until things start to change in your life. Because through repetition, you're going to get better at almost anything that you're going through. Yeah. It's when you switch up is when the devil creeps in and fucks up everything you got going on.
Yeah. And that's what really helped me is I had to, not only did I had to face my battles, I had to face the battles that my blood was giving me. Mm-hmm. You're George. You act like George. You do this. I still deal with it occasionally to this day. And I feel like that's something I'm just going to have to deal with. I'm just going to have to accept it. That's my dad. I'm going to have some of his genes. Yeah. But it's my choice if I want to go the opposite way he did. Mm-hmm. So I have to go the extra mile in that opposite direction so I don't look like him. So I got to work harder for it. And I have. Dude, I've went further than my dad did seeking help. Because if I wouldn't have seeked help, I can tell you right now, I'd be damn near twinning with that guy. Trust me. it's crazy how far I've come, and I feel like I'm ready for that talk, you know. But God may be like, hey, you're not ready. So
you're never going to really be ready for it.
I was about to say no. Like what he said earlier. I think you do go ahead and have that conversation with him, but there's not a damn thing in the world that you just finna go, oh yeah, check mark. Let's give him a call now.
Yeah,
not a damn thing. Not a thing.
No.
Not a single conversation. Not meeting a single person. Not talking to any therapist. Like there's nothing that you're that's gonna make you, I think, entirely prepared for that. But that's part of life. Is the maybes, the if, ands, and the buts.
Yeah.
The who, how, and the what's.
My mom and my dad's divorce was taken. It was that's supposed to stay between them, but it got brought between the whole everybody. I mean, all the family. You know, aunts, uncles, cousins.
Marriage.
That it was bad. You know, so with the conversation I had with my dad, you know, ended up going to his mom. You know, my grandparents.
Yeah.
Dude, I got nothing but love for them. You know, they did what they needed to do as grandparents for when we were going through a hard time as kids. You know, when my dad and my mom were going through it, my grandparents were there. You know, so shout out to them. You know, they did their best. I got nothing but love for them. The beef is between me and my father. I got nothing wrong with them, but because of what I said to them or to him, they found offense to it. Now they got issues with me, and I don't want to say everybody on that side of the family's got an issue with me, because they don't. Because I'm really close with my uncles, you know, his brothers, my cousins on his side. I'm pretty close with them, I'd say.
Does that make you uncomfortable?
Absolutely not.
Good.
I'm glad I have them in my life. Like they probably, you know, it's a long distance love, but it feels great when I get to rekindle what I had with them when I was a kid. Seeing my uncles I saw my Uncle Mick like 7 months ago, towards the beginning of the year, and I hadn't seen him since the divorce. And seeing him, I almost cried, dude. Like seeing my blood for the first time in years, and him just looking at me like, I get it. It's gonna be all right. That made me feel more comfortable than any situation about the divorce that I've been put in. So I definitely, I could say.
So I'm a little different. I've been the black sheep of life for most of my life, from gang violence to this whole relationship stuff. So I'm used to being disliked. I can walk in a room. By the time I walk out of it, half the room don't like me, and I don't know why. I've been like that all my life, and I don't do nothing to nobody. My soon-to-be ex-wife, her family don't like me, and I have not done nothing to them.
Oh man, yeah, no, it's talk about a Bible verse. God said, "Remember when the world hates you. Remember, they didn't like me first."
That's right. That's right.
You know, they didn't like me first, and like that's a bro. That was my toughest one. Cause I was a nice, soft, and tender mama's boy. I ain't had no daddy growing up, so I was a mama's boy. So it was so foreign to me when I finally got to about that age where I walk in the room, hey everybody, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, I think you should do this, man. Oh, I love them. You know what I'm saying? I love the apples you made, bro. And walk out and just like, why the hell? I told that nigga I like his shoes. What he don't like me for? And then it got to that point where it was just like, damn, I can't control that either. Son of a bitch.
It took for me to be in church, and it took for my pastor to look at the crowd and go, you have to be comfortable in isolation. Because if people see that you're not comfortable, they're going to continue to make you uncomfortable. So now when I walk around, I don't give a damn.
Yeah, and that's why I say I think you learn a lot during isolation too. I think isolation is, I think isolation is a part of a lot of healing of any sort.
That's where God tells you, like, that's, dude.
Hey,
it is. That's why I came to Orlando. I literally, if spinning the globe and just picking a spot was a person, that's what it was. I'm like, I'm going to Orlando. And my mom like, what the fuck you doing down there? I'm like, I want to disconnect. I need to get away. She was like, you can do that shit at a hotel up the street. No.
No,
No.
I'm gonna see somebody. I don't want to see nobody.
Nope. I don't even want there to be an emergency and you got a way to get your hands on me. I need a way to get a fuck
Complete
away.
disconnect.
And that's what I did. I hopped on a plane, came down here, spent whatever for this, and literally been walking around this bitch in my birthday suit, bombing Negro spirituals.
And I feel like
bro.
I definitely think that really does build a connection with God. Is that isolation? God put you in isolation, so you focus on needing Him more than you need, your friends and your family. God makes it known you should go to Him before you go to anybody else. Anybody else. Always seek God first.
So let's get back to these relationship questions, though. Would you rather be needed or wanted in your relationship?
I feel like I feel like you get a little bit it seems like hearing the question, it sounds like you get a little bit more security in the needed part, but I'd rather be wanted. I feel like you're going to, like you were talking about earlier, get up, learn something new about them, make their sandwich better, do this. I'm not gonna do all that if I don't want you.
Okay.
And I'm committed. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like I feel like I have to be wanted. There has to be like a bit of some sort of enthusiasm. Like occasionally I need to know, hey, why the hell you with me? You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'd rather be wanted.
I get what you're saying. I feel like if you're wanted, they'll do the extra step for you. But if you're needed in a relationship,
then they're just milking you.
They getting what they can get from you. They don't care about all the other stuff. If
whether that be emotionally, financially, physically. If you're not wanted, I feel like, and you need it, I feel like you just give it.
If I'm needed, right? If I have a place of my own, right? Mm-hmm. And she's with me, and she's only with me because she needs me. She's not gonna go anywhere because this is her place. She's only here because she's got a place to stay. It's not about me. It's about because she's got a roof over her head. She's got food in her mouth.
And somebody's gonna provide the same thing one day that they need from you. And I feel like they gonna make like a banana and split.
Yeah.
If they need you, they're just like, you just put it down different. You just got exactly what I need. Got that big old thing. Once she find that, like, who's to say that she's not gonna go find that next big old thing? And now what? Now I'm obsolete.
Yeah.
If she needed, like you said, if she needed a house, if she needed a place to stay, if that's what she needed, what does she mean to do that at the bar? He rich, he got a house.
So, for me, there's not really a right answer to this question. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's more or less some bullshit.
A little all together, or you think it's a little bit of both?
All together. But the reason why I say that is, has there ever been something in your life you wanted, and then when you got it, sometime down the line you discarded it?
Yes.
Because you no longer want it anymore.